So, you wish to be a Roman governor? Congratulations! The Emperor himself has deemed you worthy to take charge of these lands. Once struck by disaster, they're now ready for new leadership. Your leadership. Your story begins here, on a humble island with azure shores. Latium. Whether you dream of a bustling trade empire or conquest-driven dominion, success is never guaranteed. No two cities will ever be the same, as every choice you make shapes your city in your image. Govern well, and the Emperor will sing your praises. Govern poorly, and, well, the consequences won't be pleasant. Every decision you make will shape your legacy. So, how does one become a good governor? Let's find out.
Alright, finally, here we are now in the game itself, and boy, it is 4K, it is real graphics, not streamed anymore or anything like that, and yeah, we are on this island here, and our goal right away, of course, as always, is to create a bustling, smaller town. And bustling it is with trees, as far as I can see. So we're playing the demo, of course, and in the demo, I think this is all a preset, so we do have a mackerel population here, grape population, and so on. So this is a good starting point to get to tier 2 ASAP. By the way, I am only allowed to play 1 continuous hour, so everything above that is then locked again. And let's check it out quickly. I want to get to those trees here, so we can start our building production right away. And the reason why I'm using trees right away is because replanting takes ages, and using trees speeds the whole thing up quite a bit. We're also going to start with our sawmills right over here. The game was paused actually. And as you can see up there, the time is ticking, the clock is ticking. And we want to get this going here. There is, I think we should be able to get us another lumberjack going. And I'm just going to have this one here as well. So this is going to be quite a busy warehouse with so many things coming in. And yeah, we can also just marvel the graphics. This is the game now on max details, and with Raytracing activated, right? And despite all of that, I'm maintaining 60 FPS for now. Of course, it's an early town, so we'll just see how performance looks later on. We continue, and I continue here with, once again, really, for the lack of creativity, I'm sorry for that, but since we are under time pressure, I'm just gonna quickly build me something so that we can actually get a bit further, so I can show you more things then down the road, right? And we start, of course, with some Liberty residences once again. And once again, we also have then the blueprint mode, right, that I can have there. And I would actually like to use this as well then. And the cool thing is, yeah, you can actually plaster a road around this. I like this. And we once again can also copy our blocks like that. All right, 27 timber we have. Let's actually get them started here. And what I also need to do right away is I need to get a food production going, because without that in this game, as opposed to Anno 1800, you don't get anyone moving in, right? So 0, that's it. Until we have some food, and those fish, they will do the job for us, hopefully. So in this session, I focus on Latium again, the Romans. And in the next session then, the next video, I will then be focusing on the Celts once more, to also enjoy them. And on my PC now, the game, it just looks fantastic. Really, really nice looking game, I think, there. And once again, also, you are watching a compressed YouTube video, so wait for the game to be on your PC as well. Alright, we have this one. I'm trying now to get my balance up here as quickly as possible. Let's also build a few more houses. And then we're also gonna head with that fisherman here. And, Anno, typical, lots of details when you look at those productions. And finally also a game with proper HDR implementation, even though it's not on the video. Seize his goods, yeah. This is one of those quests that you can do. We can actually pay him something. 400 is nothing, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and do this and not get any penalty going, right? And with that we can actually upgrade faster, and I would like to do this. So I'm probably gonna go ahead with just density blocks, really. And also on that side here and here. Just quickly get our roads going. There's also a tutorial. You can actually disable this one. And a bit further up here, probably. I'm gonna push my road all the way up there. This road building is also so nice. It's so, you know, so easy to just draw the roads. And oat does not need a fertility, so we can actually just go ahead and get me my oats going right away. Probably, wait a second, there's a ruin. Let's have it here. Okay, and with this we can then also draw our first fields here, like so. Then we just like to copy me this, because I know we're gonna need a lot of porridge then as well down the road. Also, market and tavern have been unlocked, very good. And the porridge is something that actually gives you once again this population boost to it. So that's something we definitely should be keeping in mind. Okay, I'm trying to get most of it in, or we're just gonna have 2 districts again. Yeah. Right, could have one here. And then we're gonna have another one here. Let's actually start with this one. Also the tavern, for a bit of happiness. Let's have this by the main road. And then also our market.
We're both very small fish.
And have you a house?
Just crazy, the details. Just gonna look forward to playing this one without time constraints in the future. Let's get me my porridge stand going here. So I'm just gonna have them by the farm here. And then, as we can see, we do have a bit of a radius around that. But the porridge stand does not need to be in the city, so I'm not gonna do this. I think the tunic is the first one that actually, yep, gives the area of effect income. So we have the radius then here. And this is a building that you should have then in your various districts, right? To get things going. And let's have them here. I also want to show off the fields along the roads. I think this looks also quite nice. Even though, of course, it needs a bit more fine-tuning, right? If we want to have it like that. There you go. And then we can have our tunics. So let's actually start with them. And what I also love is when you have fields close to the roads, as you can see, you have a fence here. I think this is fantastic. Fantastic detail. And then let's also have our spinner there. Already gets its access then right away to the warehouse. By the way, we should probably go out there with my ship and explore a bit. No materials on board. And we continue with another district here that we can finish. Probably there are 2 river slots here that we could use.
You must be the governor.
Licia Ma is coming in again, so she's the one that I've seen the most so far. We'll just see if she has a story.
Clouds, like the ones you see in the desert at dawn. What is yours?
And once again, we can also extend our polite greeting then to her. We should probably be doing this. Also reach the next city status, small town now. And every city status that you reach reduces your fire risk, for example, or your fire safety, right? So this kicks in after quite a short amount of time only. And then you need to be on your toes when it comes to fire and stuff like that. Just waiting now for the tunics to come in, because with that we can then upgrade. Probably just gonna take this one, push it up here again, towards the tavern that we have there.
Our scouts have sighted new land.
There she is.
Oh, governor!
Diana. She's an NPC, so she's someone like Archie, gives you quests. She also purchases pigs quite a bit. I wonder why. And she's got some items too. These items are really expensive, like 100,000. I can't afford this for quite some time still. Yeah, you just gotta marvel at those sights. Beautiful. And it's a mixed bathhouse. There's also Valeria coming in again, another NPC.
How my tenants use their floor space is up to them.
And she would be purchasing marble, for example, sells me fish already, and also has some specialty items there again. Like income boost for all buildings in range of my villa. City status 3 has been acquired to growing municipia. And with that, once again, also getting lower on my hazards here. On my chances to catch the plague or a fire. I don't think there's a fire at the moment so far in my town. I'm also happy to see that they've improved the people walking around. They looked a bit drunk, right, in the alpha version. So this has been greatly improved now. Some of them are still looking a bit wonky, but overall I think that city image has been improved. We could also build our first bridge now. Now, there are these sandbanks here. When we look at that, we can see that a bridge here costs 8 tons. And outside of a sandbank, it costs 11 or 10 tons. So I think so far, this can be used for a bridge. You don't have to though, right? It just gives you a nice little advantage of what you want to do with it, right? And you can also, and this is really cool then, make this bridge into a bigger bridge, right? So it's not dividing into 2 bridges or something like that anymore. I like this. It's, by the way, yep, the same map that we've played in the very first reveal gameplay. And I'm just gonna go up here again. There's so much space here. We do have some money left over though now, so I can build some roads here. And I would like to have my next production chain here, which is then my hats, the Peleus Felter. All right, and let's start with that. Yeah, 3 fields, so we can have them here with a production of 2 per minute. So 2 of them can actually be used, and they also have their area of effect again. So we should probably have them close to the city or in the city.
Scouts have sighted new land.
It's a fine day. You can get some very nice vistas in. Like this. Alright, let's actually get them going as well. Probably, yeah, in my artisan area here. So we do have already this area there. Let's actually move this one again. Closer to this one, right? And then have the same thing on the other side here. As long as they have access to the warehouse, that is entirely fine. Of course, these are optional goods, right? So you don't need to have both of them. Just one of them is fine. And this one here gives me an income of +2. And this one here gives me income +1 and a happiness boost +1. Which is important since we're rather low on happiness already. My ship, in the meantime, is discovering new islands like this one here. It's huge with a lot of rivers. Or this one here with lots of flat land in the center. There's so many resources we haven't touched yet. Oyster, flax. We also have a statistics menu again, of course. So here I can see now, for example, that Tunix is very tight here for production and consumption. I would love actually to have the production as white and the consumption as green. I don't know why, but this seems a bit odd to me, to my eyes at least. But anyway, you know, you get used to it quickly. So I can see the fish is low, Tunix is low again. So we will need to use some boosting here. Unfortunately, also, you can't have these fisheries anymore in the open sea, like in Anno 1800. We need to have a direct beach access now at all times for them. And the tunic, number 3, so those 2 already supply the city. So you still need an industry zone, right? A zone where you have a lot of artisan buildings together. Because demand just quickly outpaces the space that you have to build them. So let's just have this one here too. I can always move them back in the city if I want to, if I expand with another district, for example. Of course, at some point we have satisfied all the needs, and we can go ahead in upgrading my population for the next tier. Tier 2 it is. The plebs.
You need a villa, Ere, essential in demonstrating your control of an island.
Right, with them, of course, we do have a whole bunch of new industries. First of all, I would like to get me more lumber going. So I'm gonna have me another sawmill here, together with my warehouse. And we should also get going with the coal production. Not here though. So here we'll have something else then. Let's have the coal production a bit further up here in the north. You actually need to have a dense forest for this. There it is. Alright, so something like that. Looks fine. It is also affecting, by the way, other industrial buildings. There you go. The sheep farm, for example, has been affected by it. So we need to move this a bit further away so that it's not affected anymore. Let's go ahead, build me my charcoal burner. And also the next productions we have once again. Also, I would like to work on my first brick production. For that we need the clay pit again. And then also our tiler. And once again, this is also negatively impacting surrounding buildings. So I'm gonna have my fire hazard. I mean, okay, there it is, the question. Should we have all the fire hazard buildings clumped together? I think this is not a good idea. So I'm gonna have them a bit spread out, right? Like closer here to my warehouse. And you can actually have then a vigilis that is reducing the fire risk of the surrounding area. I think this is a safer approach. Alright, also, once again, we need to get the villa going. Alright, this time, I'm gonna place it up here. Last time it was actually in the city, right? It makes sense. It gives you prestige that you can use then, right? And it should be also far away from the beach. But to make things a bit different, let's actually have the villa up here. It's on this mountain slope. I like this. There is also no beach close by, right? So it should be easy to protect this one. Just gonna get rid of that road again. And then we have that connection here. All the way up into my residence once we have some tiles. And there's also the night creeping in now. I think we have a beautiful sun going down over there. And what you can also notice right away is that the clouds this time are rendered in real time. Like in 1800 you have a fixed skybox, and this is now looking much more dynamic. I think there's a quest lurking. And take the Liberty aboard on my ship. And where should we go now? And drop them off here. These are tourists that we're delivering to the next NPC then over here. Alright. We continue also with a bit of city expansion up here in the north still. And I'm also building now my vigilis here in the city center, which is directly reducing then the fire risk. So we now have a positive fire safety again. This is reducing then the amount of fires you basically get in the city, right? And then I would also like to continue upgrading. Since we have a lot of timber, why not use that?
Bay City is unhealthy. Ideal conditions.
For religion, I like to go with Ceres in the beginning. Though for some islands it would make sense also to go with Neptune. In this case here, Ceres just gives you the earlier boosts to your farming and agriculture. And since bread, for example, is rather expensive to produce, this gives you a nice early boost for that. Let's actually have some bigger fields like that. And by the way, also what you can do, let's switch back to daytime. It's easier when you want to build something. We can also pause the day-night cycle. I think there would be another coastal side over here that I would like to use. Just around these ruins there. And we need 2 of them. Together with the flour mill, which is just sitting here by the shores. And then we also need the bakeries, and this one here, once again, can be in the city, but with caution, because it also increases the fire risk. So I'm gonna have them a bit further at the edge, where we also have our firefighters. So that one, let's build both fields, because you need to have 2 to support 1 flour mill. And then we have the flour mill. Okay, for my next productions, I'm gonna move a bit further over here again. So a bit further away, as we have a bit of space here. Now we go into the realms where, you know, your productions will need different islands too. So, for example, my amphora here needs a resin. That is something that we don't have on this island at all. There's not enough time to settle on an island, really. I mean, I can still try it out. We do have the ship that has delivered them over there. So let's actually just finish this quest. Perhaps we get something nice out of that. Seems like we didn't get any reward out of this. Let's just check it out. Perhaps we have some resin close by. There is resin. Alright, let's get to this island there. It's actually rather close to my main island. We could probably, yeah, we could actually do this, I think. Let's try to get the resin going. The next one would be the sandals, though, that I would like to push, and that's the pigs. The pigs also reduce the parameters of the surrounding area, right? So you gotta be careful with where you place them. Let's just get the warehouse down here. There we got the pig farms. They're producing how many? Oh, actually quite a bit. So this is already 4 tons of hides. Also gonna need a salt pond. Let's have this one. Yeah, let's have it here. There we have a nice access to the beach. By the way, how far can you go outside? Up to this point here. That's actually quite far. Gonna copy me this one. And then we have the tannery. We can have this one and should have this one in the area. Though, as you can see, it's actually also affecting other production buildings, right? Because it's such a polluted building, right? It causes lots of pollution. It's just nasty to have. This one's also 2, so we can actually build 2 of them. And then I can go ahead with my sandal maker. And this one is something, again, that we can have then in the town center. I'm gonna have this one a bit closer to my warehouses. One I'm gonna have over here. One I'm gonna have over there. They actually produce only after 2 minutes, so you need to have a bunch of them, right, if you want to cover your whole town with that. And it's a direct income boost again that you can get out of these. And we need them to finish my clothing demand there again, right? Food with the bread is already satisfied. We got the service buildings, and then I need to have the amphora or the olive oil. Now, olive oil theoretically is easy because it only needs olive fertility, but olive fertility, based on my experience so far, seems to be extremely rare. So we'll just see where I could squeeze this in. There's no olive here. No here. None here. None here. Yeah, there's no olive, right? Down here is olive. It's further away. It's a pretty expensive island. It's the only one I've found. Now, selling on islands only costs you money, right? So there is no resource demand anymore. So you can decide yourself what kind of island you want to settle. Let's actually upgrade. My houses there to get us a bigger city going. And yeah, this one further makes my parameters here worse, right? So should really get started on some boosts to my safety parameters. That means I do need to have a fire station here, and very important, a policia, right? The police, because they actually give you also a boost to your industry zone.
On that. Let him know who made it.
Alright, yeah, the olive island actually costs me 22,000, but I think we can make this work. So let's get the olive island. The cool thing with the olive, as you can see, that olive growers, the plantations, only cost me farmers, right? The resin would actually take workers' plebs. So this is easier to set up quickly. And it's also 2 tiers that we get with that. So we fully satisfy the household needs with that. So I would like to get this going. This is not so good. We are a growing city now. The parameters worsen. But what I can do is I can now build my sanctuary. And yeah, I'm gonna have this one here in the center. Since the demo is limited to only tier 2, I'm just gonna use the center space here for those 2 service buildings, right? And the Grammaticus on the other side for learning improvements. And with that, you have a nice area here in the center where those 2 are filling it in. We also have with the Grammaticus the research then. And once again, yeah, increasing the range of my market is one of the first ones I go, because you can have bigger districts with that, and also increasing the trading post here. This would be something to keep in mind. Also, we unlocked our first milestone, inspiration it's called, right? If you do this, like have a growing city here, you unlock then more branches of your research, right? Here, for example, we don't need to have 2 cities devoted to a single patron. We can actually do this already. Establish a trade route. We can also do this already. Let's get my ship, and that's my flagship. I would like to get me some tiles. We have lots of them, and planks, and get them down here to start a basic production once again. It's also going to be important to start on the soap, because this is the health boost, and boy, we need health. So in this case here, let's go ahead and get me my lavender fields going. So let's have them beside the pigs. Perhaps it's... Oh, we don't have lavender fertility. I have it on the other island though. So a trade route will be absolutely important. Looks like there are some lavender fields already. Some natural grown ones. Get this one down here. Spend a lot of coin on purchasing this island. Look at that. You can also see different formations here. Beautiful, like that rock there. It really does look very Mediterranean. Alright, there's my ship. Let's get the resources off board and immediately start with the production here. The fisher, as always, doesn't need a fertility, so you can have this one right away. And then once again, we're just starting with a basic town. To get the workforce for my farms. And there's really no other purpose for this. We'll just see how many farmers I can get out of that. 33 we already have. I'm not going to bother, I think, with my own timber production. The thing with those is that they actually grow really slow, right? Like 2 minutes for 1 olive ton is nothing. Also, they're huge. And expensive. Okay. I'm really going just with those, yeah. 4. Why not? And then we can also go with the lavender. That's the soap, right? Over here. That's also 2 minutes. It's a happiness boost for the surrounding area. That is also funny. Because I already thought that lavender would make you happy. Because it smells really nice. Let's also build the villa. Which is important because it gives you the access to island prestige, which in return gives you access to your bonuses. By the way, while we are at the gods, let's give this one here also Ceres to get me that milestone. And yeah, this island here definitely profits from the farming god or goddess. Okay, so the timber is in. Gonna finish both of the lavender fields. And we can also work on our first trade route now between those 2 islands. And of course, oops, keep Pressa to Cyrena. And I'm gonna add my Titan, my flagship, to this. And we're gonna say in Kipressa, get me my lavender. I only have 2 slots available for this though, so yeah. And then also get me my olives. Establishing this to unlock me also another milestone once again. With that we can research a bit more. And off it goes with the resources. Also what I would like to see here right away is... Yes, we can create groups again, right? Very important, I think. To get different groups to sort your trade routes. I didn't check this one last time I was able to play this game, so there it is. Okay, got some quests here again. Find a shipwreck. I don't have an available ship right now to me, so this could be a bit harder to achieve. And we do have here a ruin.
My cousin Aura says she's cursed.
Let's also make sure that we add some fire safety.
I advise you dispatch a scout to explore our surroundings. Information is power. Addy.
Happiness-wise, we're actually looking fine. And health-wise, it's the worst. So I don't even have Medici right now in my town. So also, once again, this is something where you basically will need to fiddle around with your city quite a bit, right? To get everything sorted out. There's so many demands kicking in. Let's have one here, and the other one we can have a bit further outside. To reduce that. And once the soap is coming in, this will further improve. By the way, I will need another charcoal burner. Let's have this one here. The lavender. Now we need the renderer out of the pigs. So I'm gonna push me another pig farm here. Get me my renderer. And as we can see, this is once again reducing the parameters of the surrounding area. We're gonna have me fire safety here. This one's producing every minute it was, right? Yes. We need 1 ton. Let's have a second one. And with that, we can actually supply 4 soap makers. Definitely want to have one here. But as you can see, this is also lowering my happiness. So I'm not going to have all of them in the city. In fact, I'm also going to have 2 outside here. In a new industry zone that we could create over here. Okay, so this one's finished, basically. Now we have the olive. And this one really just needs olives, right? And then we have the olive oil. And this one has no penalty, but just health boosts. So I would like to have this once again here. Somewhere. And yeah, I can make 3. If I have one here in the town center, that would be glorious.
Fire has started in your city.
I mean, we don't really need all of them here. These are actually some smaller bonuses that we don't really need at this point. So I can push this also in to maximize the yields out of that. And yeah, with that we have fulfilled all the basic needs that you have for tier 2. And hopefully also a way to fight this. We have the firefighters here. And we can also see all the incidents in the closed area. There's no mobilize button anymore though. So I'm probably gonna have another one over there. There's also building a new one, the watchtower. And this one is a very tiny building that you can have quite a few times in your city. And it's basically increasing the happiness of the surrounding area. Okay, we could also do some quests now. There is this ship that sank. The Isis. And I think there is my... Oh, wait a second. Let's actually unload. Those goods here. Yeah, very good. Health has actually now improved again to the positive levels. No, just on time. We are now a large city, and that means it's kicking it down again. All right. The problem is we don't have any buildings to counter that penalty now. Okay. What is that? Darkness swells to fills the holes and holes of the ices, and at the edge of hearing you can almost make out something like a wail. As you follow, the wails resolve into something like speech. Should we pursue this? Oh yes.
Governor, you must sink this ship for good.
And we are now destroying it with our arrows. There you go.
The wind is at our back.
Probably to find a salute.
A ship is under attack.
A shipwreck wreckage. And we need to deliver this one back.
The waters here hold
Okay,
great comfort
we
for
could
those
purchase
with
this ship.
busy
Let's do it.
lives.
That's a new ship that I haven't seen yet. It's a Pentaconter, but it's a military one, so it's an upgraded version with lots of archers on board. And this one is a really beautiful one, very detailed. And they're ready to shoot, it seems. They also have the ship archer upgrade and the ship scorpion upgrade, so they're doing a lot of damage here. For 5,000, that's actually quite manageable, right?
Oarsmen, begin.
And this is a military ship, so I would like to know if you can actually settle an island with a military ship. Let's go ahead and get this one going too. You can actually load this off board. And we get some 25 olive oils we get out of that. Let's resume the trade route. We also have enough timber, so I would like to have some fortifications here. And there's this gate that we can have. Nice. And then have something surrounding us here. Oh, overlapping radius. Interesting. The archers cannot overlap? Interesting, alright. I wonder why. This doesn't make so much sense to me. Alright, so you can only have one of these here. Especially since the radius is quite large for that one. Alright, military ship has arrived. And no, look at that. We cannot settle with a military ship. Interesting. Okay, there's no bonus coming out of that. I still have something to pick up though. So let's just check it out. That is also a Pentaconter, a military ship. Also just for 5.9. So I think it could be a very valid strategy early on to purchase a bunch of them to protect yourself. And of course, I myself continue with a bunch of upgrades. You can, by the way, just delete those ruins here. Right, you have them on the whole island. Unfortunately, they don't yield any resources or so. You just delete them, for now at least. Okay, my ship has arrived. And deliver that one to that one. Back and forth. And the military ship can actually do this. Also, we have a new goddess, and that's Minerva. And Minerva, divine avatar of wisdom, is a master and patron of 1,000 arts. Devotees of Minerva aim to live up to her lofty ideals. And she is boosting my artisan production, more or less. Right? So my trousers, my tunics, and everything that is included with copper. Let's get her in. Mercury we also have then, down here. And then we have a cult that we can unlock for the Celts. Oh no. City status. We have arrived and we can deliver the feast.
Today, you are not among masters and dominates, but among...
but I think that's it. Make a choice. Free wine flows like an aqueduct or sewer. Some of your Liberty have clearly enjoyed themselves a bit too much. One of them vomits. You'll have to ruin the Liberty's fun before they ruin your reputation. Cut the wine supply. I think this is the thing that is a bit safer. And by the way, since we have a bit of coin, do you have a specialist for me we could use? Rare Prosperina. Workforce reduction for mines and bits. Ships with self-repair. Oh, okay, nice. Can we take this one? This is an upgrade for your captain, the baler, and now the ship is self-repairing itself 30% faster than before. Nice.
Shall be done. A ship sail.
These ships cost you also workforce, liberty and plebeian workforce, and also some upkeep, of course. Also again, once worth it to have a look at my opponent. So we have here the Emperor. This is someone that I have no idea that much about yet. You have a repetition with him, so he kind of like stands above everyone else, right? And he has demands that are kicking in over time, right? And depending on where you are with the repetition, he will actually punish you or also reward you. So we'll just see how that turns out. But past tier 3, there wasn't that much yet. Then we have Licia, so she is of course one of the players that you can compete against with her effects. So they have now an alliance effect, so if you go into alliance with them, they actually give you a bonus like prestige increase here, wall upkeep reduction, and we get 1 ton of fine glass for every 10 weapons that we sell. So yeah, that's that. And then we can also see her powers. Right, and we can see that we are much stronger economy-wise and also naval power-wise, but that's because I'm purchasing ships like crazy. I also wanted to give you a quick heads up for the settings that you can go for, right? So here for example, I'm running with the 4080 right now, and then you have a whole bunch of different settings here, especially the graphics. You also have now DLSS. Finally, at 1800 only had AMD's Fidelity FX Super Solution available here. We also have then all these settings here, so we're playing on the highest possible mode. Also ray tracing is enabled, so this is also interesting, right? That there's ray tracing in a city builder, something like that. Audio settings we have, control settings we have, so you can also once again customize all of your hotkeys that you want to have for this game. There's a lot of it. Also, once again, you can show tutorials or not. You know, do you want to have edge scrolling, save with autosave enabled, and also for the multiplayer, you can enable the crossplay to play with console players as well. For the interface, we can also choose how we want to show the HUD. Do we want to have it centered or stretched across the map, for example? You can also show grids, right? You can even say, okay, give me italics or not. I think this is really interesting. And then, of course, the language settings we have with the subtitles. I know some of you are interested in that, right? So there's a lot of stuff, once again, you can customize in this game. And this has been the Anno 117 Pax Romana Demo with Latium, onwards to the Celts. I hope you enjoyed this one. You can also download the demo right now, play it for free, and make yourself from your own opinion about this game. Very promising so far. Can't wait to finally then be able also to play the full version. Cheers!